Good morning to all of you. I'm glad that all of you are here this morning. It's been a long journey for me for the last 1 year, and I'm very thankful that all of you are here once again since our last meeting for the inauguration of the campus. I thought maybe I should prepare a speech. Frankly, I didn't have the time, given that the new facility was still getting ready till 6 o'clock this morning. But that apart, I thought I like to start off the welcome speech in a different way. Normally they give vote of thanks at the end, and I thought I should start with the vote of thanks. Okay, not just because it's Thanksgiving Day somewhere in the world, but also it's a true reflection of all those who have helped us to come where we are today. Okay. Not knowing where to start, I think the best place is to start from the beginning. So I'm going to take you through a small journey about how this all came to being. While we stand here today on November 27th, 2009, the thought for the school came long ago and sort of crystallized in a very accidental meeting which happened in August 2007. In fact, what I'm going to share with you today is a lot of such accidents. The whole thing, while we dreamt of, the thing became possible because of various people who came along the way to help. It was not by design. I think it was sheer accident, but more importantly, I think it's because we were prepared. I sent out a New Year greeting a few years back. I don't know how many of you received it. And I said, we are prepared. Okay? And that's a reflection of what the best black and white photographer in the world talked about. Luck. I mean, someone went and asked him that it was just sheer luck that he got great photographs out of natural events. He said, when you're prepared and the opportunity knocks, some people call it luck. And I think as I was getting prepared, a lot more opportunities came, and I could take the help of several of them, and that's how I thought I should start this speech today, by thanking each one of them. And it's also a tradition, I guess, of most of us. As you know, when the Christians sit around and pray, they thank the God for whatever they've given. But I'm going to take a different tack and pray like most of us Hindus here, who go and ask for more as a token of thanking God. Okay, so each one of the people I'm going to recognize, I'm going to ask more of them. As I said, it started off in August 2007 when I visited the Academy of Management meeting in Philadelphia. I was leaving Philadelphia and coming back. By sheer accident, I went up the escalator. I could have turned left, or I could have decided to get into the lounge. I don't know what made me turn left. I turned left, I got into the Delta Crown lounge, and I bumped into an old friend of mine, Professor Raj Srivastava, who was with me in Emory University in Atlanta, where I spent a short time before I came back to India. And we started off our whole discussion about starting off a business school on our own in India. So I said, listen, we spoke about this a long time ago. I think I'm now getting ready. As I was getting ready to turn 50, I said, the next year I'll be ready. So I think this is the right time to start. But then I asked him if he can promise me to get 100 professors, which is when I'll really get started here. He said, sure, we can do that, Sankaran. Let's start the planning. Again, a sheer accident. As I said, I could have turned right and missed this opportunity, but I turned left and met Raj Srivastava after about 8 years. Okay. Now, Raj went on to become the provost at Singapore Management University, but he was one of the initial people who gave the spark to the idea to get it to where it is. Okay. Now, from then I came back to India, and that conversation ended there because I was just one person here, and I wanted someone who can administratively grow the school. As most of you perhaps know me by now, while I may dream and think, I'm a poor executor. I can't execute well. Okay, so I needed someone who had the administrative ability to perhaps build the school with me while I handle the academics. And again, by sheer accident, I went to Delhi. The flight was delayed. Okay, and here was this man from ABN AMRO Bank, Ranga, who was now in Singapore, who has been trying to get hold of me for a long time, thinking that I had a lot of wealth for him to manage, which of course he didn't know how much I had or didn't have. So finally he caught up with me at the airport, and because the flight, Indian Airlines flight, was delayed, we had about an hour together, and we started talking about wealth, and one thing led to another, and he started talking about real estate, and my ears perked up, as Balu here would know how much I love real estate. And he talked about one Mr. Krishnamurthy, who was also planning a similar school for which he is buying land in Kunur. I said, well, let me meet with him. Can you introduce me? So being the good wealth manager that he is, when we came back to Chennai, within a week he kept his promise and introduced me to Mr. Krishnamurthy. And that's how we started our discussion, and I found him to perhaps be a good administrator, having been at Philips and IBM and Exaware and so on, where he said, I'm getting off all this and I want to build a great executive development program. So I said, well, you run the executive development program and I run the normal MBA program. We have professors who can come and who can, do the executive programs. And we got together and started planning further. And that's when some of my other professor friends got involved. Raj came down, Verghese George came down, Professor Kumar came down. We met and we slowly put the plans together. And March 2008, I go back to the US to meet with several other people to sort of spread the idea that we would like to do this and invite them to be part of this. And one such person is Ramesh Bala, who's here with us. He's a professor of information systems. Ramesh, if you just get up so others can see you as well. Ramesh Bala is a very distinguished professor of information systems at Georgia State University, and he readily agreed. And along with him, a few others also came. So I said, let each one of you take responsibilities, one in accounting, one in marketing, one in information systems, and so on, so that I don't have to do all the legwork. So they would go out and get more professors, right? So we had the first round in March and April of 2008. I came back with perhaps a list of about 24. And I said 24 is not enough because my goal was 100. So there we started planning more, and my second trip to the US was in 2008, August, when we met several more professors, and about 60 of them signed on to this dream of coming here and teaching and spreading good quality management education in India. Okay, that was the time when I met another person by sheer accident. Okay, RR Industries owner, one Mr. Ravi, was also a Temple University grad, as much as I am. And after several years, close to 20 years, I called on him and said, listen, I need space now. I don't have the money. And you seem to have a whole lot of space, and could you give me something where we work out a structure that gets me the space and gets you the money in some form? So he readily agreed. You won't believe the whole thing got done in 3 minutes flat. Okay, he's not a man of many words. Unfortunately, he's not here today. As I said, several people came along the way to get this idea moving. Whether they continued or not, the idea kept growing. And Ravi's contribution at that time is significant for me to recollect as to how the whole project became a reality. As some of you know, when we launched the program in February 2009, we said we will be in Ambattur, and that was Ravi's RR's property. Unfortunately, we couldn't build the school in Ambattur, and that's why it's a delayed start here in 2009 November. Now, because of Ravi's offer to get the whole thing moving, we formed the company, and we felt that we had the required funds to get moving. Okay, without knowing at that time that the financial crisis will hit, and obviously it hit several people where it shouldn't have it, and it had an impact on us as well. So continuing on from there, once we said we are going to incorporate, we are going to have the 60 professors and the facilities getting ready, Georgia State University got interested, and they said we will collaborate with you. and that's how we began the collaboration when we didn't even have a website ready, okay, which is unheard of in American university relationships, where they do a site visit and they do a lot of due diligence and then sign on. But thanks to the kind of professors that we had, people like Ramesh Bala, Kumar, and Ram Sriram, the dean of the school said, this seems to be like a good initiative, we would like to collaborate with you, and we signed the MOU and we launched the school in February of this year. Now, starting in February, we thought by June we will get ready in Ambattur. As I said, unfortunately we couldn't start there, given the trouble with the real estate industry. In the meantime, we had started our admission process, students signed on, and we didn't know what to do. Okay, and I'm sharing some of these things with you to sort of thank each one of them who have come through this, and to publicly recognize how they have contributed to the growth of the school this far. And at this stage, I like to personally thank one of the students and one of the parents here. Where is Nair? Nair here is one heck of a NMS guy. He had not seen me, he had not seen most of us, but it was all over the phone. When we said this is not going to happen in June, he said, even if I'm the only student, I'd like to join NMS. To that extent, he had done his research. I draw my encouragement, inspiration, and energy from students like him. Okay, and the other one I like to recognize is Dr. Sethuraman. Where is Dr. Sethuraman here? Dr. Sethuraman's son had also applied, but more importantly, his involvement was very significant, and the kind of confidence that he had in the school, especially when we had just begun our temporary office in Adyar in a place called Nihan Technologies. I see Ranga here somewhere. He was there. Ranga, could you please stand up? They were the ones who gave us the initial small space where we started off while we were still waiting for our facility. And, so it was not a big school. It was a small alley of a room that we had. And people like Dr. Sethuraman had a lot more belief in us. Okay, and that was a big encouragement. Thank you. And as I said, we need more of you. Okay, and so Nihan and others who gave us the encouragement and the space moved on. But when the Ambattur facility couldn't happen, we lost about 80% of the kind of investment that we were having, and we needed to start from scratch. This is where things just happen. And one day I was crying over someone's shoulder here. Where is Rangarajan? Is Rangarajan here? Rangarajan and Rajulakshmi are good friends of mine from Bank of India days. If I say 30 years back, you would think I'm very old, but that's who I am. So so I was crying over his shoulders, and I said, this is what has happened. I need to start all over again. I need funding. And he said, well, I don't know what to do. And we spent half a day. I dropped him, and I was driving back home when he called and said, I think you should go to Punjab National Bank. Okay. I said, why? Well, you go to Punjab National Bank, I'm sure they will get it to you. It so happened that I got to meet Mr. Narayanan. Where is Mr. Narayanan? Here? There he is. Mr. Narayanan is the zonal manager of Punjab National Bank. The first meeting, I still vividly remember how distant you were. You were judging me, you were evaluating me. Is this the kind of risk I want to take? And he truly believed in us. And we've gotten a loan that has made this facility possible. Thank you to all of you at Punjab National Bank. It's not just Mr. Narayanan, it's the people at the branch. One Mr. Gopinath is not here, but the new manager is here. And this entire team put the proposal together. When I first met with them and I said, I want to apply for a loan, this is not an existing company. This is for all purposes a startup, right? So they acted more like a venture capitalist than a banker of these days. I know bankers one day used to be like venture capitalists, but now they're pure bankers. But they really took on this project and they evaluated the risk and they said, we'd like to go with you. So thank you all for that. And we'll come back to you for more, okay? So thanks, Rangarajan, for that eye-opening. And while as part of that process, we got into a hurdle again. And if the words information is power, I truly understood the meaning of it. Is Jagan here of Ramaniyam? Okay. Now we had to get the assets valued, and that's how the bank can create the collateral and get started. And we got into a major hurdle where the assessor valuer came and said, your property is in an area which has been classified restricted zone. There is no value, so there's no marketable value. So how will the bank give the money? Okay, and this is when Jagan of Ramaniam, who was one of the real estate developers in town, pointed me to one government order which talked about what can be done and what cannot be done. And this is not a publicly available document, but it was a government order. And so we took this to the valuer, and he then reassessed and reviewed his own decision, and that made the whole thing possible. So I need more of these Jagans, okay? So we finally could sign the lease, and here is Mr. Siddiq. Would you please stand up, Mr. Siddiq? No, we need more of him. Here is a man who really, really believed in me. We didn't know each other from Adam, okay? And we were about to sign the lease when his grandson, who studied in London, who just come back on a holiday, obviously thought internet is where everything is. So he thought NMS, and he went and typed NMS. And boom, came up 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 negative blogs about us. Okay, someone. This is perhaps not the forum to talk about who the person is, but someone wanted to take something off on someone else, and obviously pick me as well, and wrote very nasty blogs about me, and therefore a reflection on the school on the internet. And being from a country which has its First Amendment rights and right of free speech and protection thereof, nothing could be done to remove them from the web. And they were coming up on the first page when you put National Management School. I'm sure you can see it if you do it, but it'll be in the third page now, okay? There are techniques to move these things down as well. You can't remove them, but you can bury them, okay? And his grandson saw this and took it to him and said, Tata, is this the person you want to do deals with? And he's going to sign the lease for 9 years. You can imagine his plight. So he called us and said in his own nice, sweet way, I'm not worried about this, but I just want to be sure that you are aware of this, okay? And sure enough, we explained, and but in spite of this, he for a moment did not think twice about signing the lease with us, and thank you, Mr. Siddiq. And we need more of this building, okay? I know this is just 7 floors. We will come to the others soon. And as part of this, I like to publicly recognize Kamdar, who's another real estate developer who actually put us together and got most of the facility moving for us. And SSPDL, who's the developer here, were the first contact for us to identify this place. We saw several places around in this neighborhood, and we picked this. The design was fantastic. We liked the 20,000 square foot floor plate. More importantly, the layout perfectly fitted what we had in mind. So, in the meantime, while I'm not myself a big person on Vastu, there were several others with me who wanted me to focus, and this place fitted it well. There's no cut on the northeast side or the southwest side, and my room could be in the southwest. So all this perfectly fitted this. So I don't know whether it was by sheer design or accident. You have designed a wonderful place, and we are happy to be here. So once we signed on the lease, we started off our assessment for the new round of students, and this is where my biggest challenge was. Where is Snigdha Kishore? There she is. Here is a person who had done very well, worked for several years in Ernst & Young, had promoted, was growing in Ernst & Young, and she applied. And sitting in Bangalore, she didn't have much to go by except what was there on the website, which obviously looked very good. But when we had the phone interview, she grilled me. I thought I was interviewing her, and she in turn ended up interviewing me. The proof is here. Okay, we need more of you, Snigdha, and others. And in the meantime, the person who just walked in is our auditor, Mr. Raj Gopalan. Would you please stand up? I'd like you to be recognized. He's a great supporter for us. Brings in all kinds of relationships that I never thought could be possible. The reason I've narrated all these things is because several people have come and helped us. They really did not seek a whole lot for themselves in this project. No, as you know, this is a for-profit private sector enterprise. But it's because we believe that we can use for-profit management principles in the running of educational institutions. It's not just for making a profit or profiteering. But even though it is a for-profit venture, the kind of response that we have received for this venture is phenomenal. And to a large measure, Mr. Rajgopalan is to be thanked for that. And when we started off our student assessment, we had a wonderful team of senior executives in human resource management. They came forward to help us assess students. So the result is what you see here. I'm going to introduce the students shortly. But we had a great team of 6 professionals in HR who came forward and helped us, led by Mr. Harish, whose father is here. Mr. Devarajan, would you please stand up? He's been a good mentor for me all these years, and his son Harish, who was also from XLRI, was till recently the head of HR in Hindustan Lever. So he put together a wonderful team to help assess the wonderful students whom we recruited. Now, all this is fine if we don't advertise. Nothing works well, and obviously being strapped as a cash-strapped as a entrepreneurial startup, I had to see how to make these things work. And media is not something inexpensive in India. That's why we have Times Treaties, who again believed in us and gave us a wonderful proposal to work with them and advertise in the Times media. I'd like to personally thank Raj Kumar, who identified us. I don't know whether he's here. And through him we got to know Nainan, who's the head of the Times Group in Chennai. We have an arrangement with them whereby we can use their media properties and not pay for it immediately. Okay, we pay when it works, and sure enough, it's working. So we need all of them, and none of them were known to me personally before, but along the way they believed in the idea and they've come forward to help us. Having gotten the students, most good students come from families which need education loan. While we do have Punjab National Bank and HDFC and so on, being education loans through the banking system has its own ups and downs, but we also got a wonderful friend now whose partnership we will announce soon, and that became possible through none other than Balaji. Okay, would Balaji please stand up? Balaji represents a company called Credila, through whom education loans are offered to our students, which makes the whole process much, much more affordable. Students pay just 15,000 rupees a month for 72 months. And the collateral is low, the interest rates are affordable. More importantly, the income limit for families is much lower. So Credila makes it possible for us to deliver affordable education in India. So we definitely need more of Credila. Okay, so this is where we are, and I'm glad all of you have come forward to help us in various ways. If I've missed out anybody, it's not by intention; it's just my oversight. Again, I'd like to thank each one of you, those who have come here and those who are seeing this function over the net. It's being webcast live today, for making this possible. I know this is just the first step. We've just completed the first year of our incorporation. November 10th of 2008 is when we incorporated, and November 24th of 2008 was when we opened our first bank account, and it's growing, and we are here. Some of the things about our school are there in the brochure that we have handed out. Take a look at our website at nms.edu.in. Soon I'll be introducing the first batch of our students and talking about some of the initiatives that we are doing. Thanks again for coming here and making me proud. I think this is the time for me to introduce the students as well. This is the first batch of 7 students. They call themselves the Grevelians, but these are the Saptaswaras that I have. Could I call, not in any particular order, the 7 students? This is not our school uniform. We don't have uniforms, but they themselves decided to wear all this. Let's start with Nair. Rahul Nair is one of the first applicants. Okay, he comes from Trivandrum. Then we have Prasad, Venkatesh Prasad. whose proud father is Dr. Seth Raman in Indian Overseas Bank. Then we have Krishna Kumar, Rahul Ramachandran, Jayant, who again is one of our true believers from Bihar, Chintan Dave, who knows the art of making money, and finally Snigdha Kishore. These are our 7 great students with whom we have started the first batch of our 2-year postgraduate program. Thanks again. Okay.